What up, Bucs fans? This is Michael Plus of Real Bucs Talk, joined by always my co-host Mark Ramirez. Mark, it is another win. The Buccaneers got a win overseas, so now they're international champions, right? No, but again, another win. Back to 5-5. I don't think we would have been saying that after a couple weeks back. With those losses against Pittsburgh and Carolina, and things just look like the world was over. Buccaneers season was over. But, they found ways. They found ways to win. Obviously the last minute against the Rams. And then yesterday was more of a just start to finish, a lot better, a lot more complete, and probably the best game they played all year, to be honest. I think you would agree with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things to talk about. And we find the bad things to talk about, which sucks every damn time. But we got good things. We got Rachaad White actually starting the game. They said it was just that call or that lineup that they scheduled. No, I mean he got to start for a reason. Usually Fournette would be out there. I think he proved that he deserved it. 22 carries, 105 yards. Could have had a touchdown, but he slows it down, just stops him bounds to win the game. Just everything he brings, the massive stiff arm that was heard worldwide pretty much over there in Germany and here in Tampa. I mean, there's just a lot of good things contributed. Julio Jones came out of nowhere. People like, oh, he should be benched. He should be cut. He sucks. A lot of it's just player utilization. How do they use these guys? And it was just done a lot more smoothly, a lot more effectively in this game. And it's things that we've been pounding the table for Leftwich. Just make a little change. I mean, you don't got to change the whole damn playbook. Just add little things to help use the personnel that you have better. And you just saw it better. Yeah, at times you're like, what the hell are they doing? Why are they doing this again? But then it would sprinkle back to the good. So to me, it was a lot more of good than bad. At one point, we're dominating this team 21-3, and then the score does not make it look anything like how it truly was. 21-16 seems like it was a close game. We're dominating the whole entire game. And late, based off of crucial fourth down plays by Geno Smith, which were freaking incredible, to be honest. They made it look close. But overall, this team dominated the Seahawks, and I hope this is the same thing we see moving forward consistently.
Right. I mean, you look at the individual numbers, much cleaner game for Tom Brady. Probably the best game he played, I think, overall from start to finish. Obviously you don't want to see the interception there late in the game, but he had a pretty solid game. I think the big numbers here, 22-29, very efficient, 258 yards, 85.9 QBR, which is pretty good. But I think the biggest number, and we'll go over it to here. Let me see, get this back up here, is the yards per pass, which was around 8.6. I think it was a little bit higher than that. If you, so over 8 yards. And, that I think is the best he's had so far this year. I'll have to look at the other games, but that's usually where you want to be, 8 to 10 yards per pass. That's what this offense is about. You saw the bigger plays happen, the more explosive plays down the field. And not only was that indicative of the run game, obviously getting 161 yards, the best total by the Buccaneers so far this year, 44 rushing attempts. You see the overwhelming number of runs, but it was just, like you said, how they use their players, utilizing play action more, utilizing shotgun runs more, and just being smart. We saw fake wide receiver screen yesterday. Just a lot of good things where they were sequencing things, using Chris Godwin much better, allowing him to make plays on the outside instead of just on the inside as a slot receiver, mixing things up. K-Dot and others, Rachaad White, obviously, with his big game. And yeah, I mean, and not to mention the defense just continued to pick up where they've left off over the last couple of weeks, and the resurgence of Devin White, who has just played to a standard that we expected of him. And this is something that he can play like every week. And when he does, you can see how dominant the defense can be. Akeem Hicks, once again, on the field, Bucs they're undefeated when he plays. So, and JTS doing, great things, just being Swiss Army knife out there. Yeah. Really, it was a complete team effort.
I mean, we mentioned so much of the offense because they're the side of the ball that needed to make the massive improvements, massive changes
Mhm.
to help out an overall team, right? They were never pulling their weight.
Yeah.
And this game, they did. I mean, every time they had the ball, they were moving it. The only times they mess up was self-inflicted. Interception by Lenny Fournette, which we'll talk later on that play call. Either way, to me, it was creative. Just not the same drive. Don't do it twice. And poor use of personnel, I guess. You have a running back throwing the ball. Yeah, never a good option. But we'll talk more on that later. Tom Brady's throw to Mike Evans, it was pretty much into a triple team. He had a safety over the top, a corner behind him, and a linebacker right in front of him. So it was a tough decision, a really needle thin opportunity they could have had to make, but ended up as an interception, and that's why the score is closer than it is. But
Mhm.
that's why we're pushing on that. And then you look at the defense. Let me bring my page up here. Top 4 in scoring defense. They're only at 18 points a game, only allowed 16. And then you look at their passing game, passing defense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're fifth, 193 yards a game. Yeah, the rushing yards has improved. I mean, but we're down near the bottom of the barrel, and now look where we're at. We're making our way back up. This defense is real, and
Yeah.
with Hicks in there, Devin White playing lights out, sideline to sideline, fire lit like it was. It's hard to beat us. And then if you have all of our guys coming back, Antoine Winfield, SMB played well. He may have allowed the touchdown, but he was right there. He's playing overall well. The last game he played well. So defensively, there's so many bright spots in here, and then we're still getting guys back too, which is insane. And then we lost Shaq, and it's still doing this well.
Yeah, I think it just shows credit. And again, when the defense communicates, they understand where they need to be, gap assignments, and like you said, Akeem Hicks makes a huge difference. Him taking up those double teams, allowing Vita Vea to get those single matchups, also helps your edge rushers, JTS, and others, and just allow guys to play freer. And obviously the play of Devin White and Levante getting downhill, making tackles for loss, being in the right spots as far as coverage, and then your other guys can work around that. Jamel Dean and Carlton Davis have been pretty much locked down all season. So when you add all that up, you get a dominant defense that knows what's in play and what they have to do, and they had one bad quarter yesterday, and obviously it was the fourth quarter. You don't want to allow 13 points to let them get back in it, but also you have to mix in with the turnovers and missed opportunities by the Bucs to put that game even further away. If you don't have obviously the trick play that went bad, you probably score on that drive, and then Tom Brady unfortunate interception trying to throw to Mike. I'm not sure if that was a third down or not, but those drives, if they're a little bit different, probably a different, much bigger outcome, and it probably reflects how this game was really going as far as dominance.
I mean, so before we talk on that, talk about the good things you did see on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, finding Julio Jones on a simple drag route. I even said it during the game, like
Yeah.
all Leftwich has to do is make it a peewee football team. I mean, use the guys man on man. I have a mismatch here. Just run across the field. Let's get you open. And he did that with Julio Jones. And he looked like a damn robot scoring. So that's probably the biggest one.
Yeah.
Using Brate in the screen. And there's not a million screens.
Yeah, it's
There's,
his only catch. Yep.
yeah. I mean, but it was productive. That one catch almost got a first down. Finding ways to do a fake screen, then hit Evans out of it. Fancy that. I mean, talk more on that and finding ways to get people open.
Yeah, they did a good job, and again, like you said, using Julio Jones, who had the biggest play of the game yesterday with 31-yard reception. It was just a simple, drag route over the middle. Guys on the other side were running, fly routes or clear out routes, and you basically created that space. And this was on a third and long situation, and you just kept it simple where it pretty much the Red Sea opened and it was wide. He just took it from there. But yeah, I mean, getting the ball into your hands of your playmakers that can do things after they catch, that's very important. And I would like to see them utilize that more going forward. And you started to see some of that, obviously, and Chris Godwin had a great game 6 catches on eight targets, 71 yards, a touchdown to, put the lead up pretty high. And then, just consistent playmakers. Again, not relying too much, spreading the ball around. Cade Otton once again showing up.
Yeah.
But again, the real hero of yesterday, it was the running game. I mean, Rachaad White controlling the clock, moving the chains, getting those first downs. And I think there was a stat where it was like 3rd and 3 or less. They converted all of them. I think there were 7 of them. They converted all of them on 3rd down, and that was all Rachaad White. So it just shows like how effective and efficient he was. Yeah, it was a thing of beauty. And I'll go back to the team stats. I mean, that's the game right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. 3rd down efficiency for Seattle, 1 of 9. The Bucs were 10 of 15, but some of those you take away because there were kneel downs. So really the Bucs were like 10 of 11, I believe it was. So that's pretty much, taking care of business. Obviously you don't want that many 3rd downs, but they were finding ways to make it manageable where they were getting, the first downs.
Let me say this too, though. I mean, this is something I put in the running back film study from last week. I mean, look where Seattle's run defense is. I mean, this is the run defense, new totals, NFL team total defenses. Yeah, the Buccaneers are moving up the chains, and Seattle's just moving down. They were never really a good run defense team. That's why I kind of mentioned at the end of that video that this is a prime time for us to actually try and get things moving, get momentum moving, run plays that you think you can, and see if it'll work against this defense. It did. Okay, well, moving forward, who we got next? Okay, Cleveland Browns are not that much better, so we should be able to work off of what we got in Germany and bring it this way. Hopefully, you think. Find the ones that worked and keep moving it. Just don't be dumb. Don't force the issue, especially if it's not working early. Sometimes they kind of do the round peg, square hole kind of thing, but they were consistent and things were productive. They were using the right guys during stretch plays. Rachaad White is just a different animal. The juice is there on outside runs. Even if the hole wasn't there, he'd hit it and fall forward. And that's something Todd Bowles talked on. Like, he fell forward a lot more on his running plays, and he'd hit a hole a lot faster. There's no stumbling in the backfield. He would just go. And that's telling. I hope they kind of see that and keep moving forward with that. Because that's, like you just said, he was like the hero. He was the biggest name to talk about in that game.
Yeah, I mean, he pretty much took over with his running ability. Obviously first 100-yard game, which is great to see. He had that big.
Take one more thing though. Look who the last time we had success running the ball.
Cowboys. Yeah, near the bottom of the league, and that's the reason why the Cowboys lost yesterday. They couldn't stop the run against the Green Bay Packers. The Packers started running the ball and getting first downs, and came back and beat Dallas. So yeah, I mean, those are good points. Obviously, you got to take advantage of what other teams' weaknesses are. And I think that gives, you got to give credit to the Buccaneers for doing that, sticking with the ground game and understanding, hey, they can't stop it. So why should we stop? And that's something that we've talked about in the past where the Buccaneers haven't done enough, where they don't attack teams' weaknesses, don't game plan for it.
Yeah.
And usually they try to stick with, hey, let's just pass the ball deep, hope for the best, and that's something that this is the type of game you want to see the Buccaneers have going forward, because first of all, you protect your quarterback in Tom. You don't have him throwing the ball 40 to 50 times. You just don't want to do that for him. That's a lot of dropbacks. It's a lot of pressure on your offensive line, which since Nick Leverett has played a lot better. It seems like there's a lot better pocket. Yeah, a lot better pocket for Tom Brady. The run game has gotten a lot more athletic and just better overall. And again, that's not dissing Luke Gedeke. Luke is a rookie and he's got a lot to learn. And there was just things where it was just too much for him at the time, going from that right tackle to guard position. And you got to give credit to the coaching staff, and hopefully they realize these guys who are playing now, they got to stay in there and they got to continue to do what they're doing going forward.
Yeah, and also look at the 0 next to Tom Brady over there with sacks. Offensive line did their job. Yeah, the play action fake helped a lot. hopefully, and they always say this too, like, we got to get a running game to get the play action game working. You don't, but it does help. It helps in a big way because Tom looked fantastic on the play action fakes. And some of the play action fakes were so quick, you didn't even see it. You didn't even try and fake it. He was just doing it and going. And they would work. They'd suck in the linebackers and over the top. It was right there. I mean, there was one where I think Brait was wide open and got knocked down. It was like another one that the linebacker was right in the way, got a nice tip ball, but it was working. And it can consistently keep working if they make it a habit of making those play action fakes, but also utilizing correct formations with that. Which it looked like every play people knew where to be. And I think it's because they just dumbed it down. It wasn't necessarily because Julio Jones wasn't lost in that game. He actually knew where to be. And Cade Otton on these just getting open. But also credit to Chris Godwin, big crucial catches and during that last 4-minute kill the clock and the game.
Yep.
I mean, and he had a very quiet big game. He was the leading catch and yards. And to me, it was very quiet. It wasn't like a huge splash game. Like you remember Julio Jones's catch. You remember Mike Evans. Besides the Chris Godwin touchdown, you didn't really much besides that in that third down conversion. But, I mean, overall, a good team game, good running game, nicely executed passes, besides a Tom Brady interception. And then let's talk about the play, the one negative plus.
Yeah, I'm looking at Tom Brady's, target here as a receiver, and I'm like, well, Tom can't throw the ball to himself. And, maybe if he could, maybe he would have caught the ball. But again, they try to have Leonard Fournette throw the football, and you go back up here. Obviously, Leonard Fournette will always remain QB2. He's not going to be QB1 because he's just not he's not a quarterback. And, they saw a play earlier in that drive. Yes, Tom Brady was unguarded and he was going down the sideline wide open. And they're like, well, hey, maybe we can catch him off guard. Maybe we can surprise him. Maybe we can do some trickery. So they thought, well, here we go. We're gonna hand it off to Lenny. And of course, Tom is just yelling, don't throw it, don't throw it. And guess what? He does. And of course it's intercepted. And, maybe if this was a young Tom Brady, maybe Tom could have some athleticism to moss this and stay on his feet. But yeah, I mean, Tom already fell before the ball got there. So just. And to be honest, we don't even know if Tom would have caught that ball if he stayed up on his feet. Like, we don't even know that. So. Like, even if he was wide open, Tom might have dropped it.
Yeah. I mean, he dropped it in the Super Bowl. So what makes you think he's going to catch it this time?
Yeah.
I mean, but overall.
I appreciate the effort, but again, it was just not the time to call this play.
Okay. So to me, the creativity, I liked it. I'm not going to get mad at that. Execution, 0. Unless there was no one over there, I wouldn't have thrown it. I would have just run. I mean, look, there's an actual open lane. Again, he missed it.
Yeah, you can't see the ball.
I mean, that's kind of just telling your running back, if he's wide open, throw it. If he's not wide open, just take it and run. This is a poorly executed play. That's what I'm going to chalk it up as. Everyone wanted to hang Leftwich on this one again, saying, oh, take his ass out, blah, blah, blah. It's 14-3. We're about to score 21 to 3 at that point. I know that was a first down too. Damn. But anyway you look at it, I like the creativity, just terrible execution. I can see where people are saying don't do that inside the red zone. We're about to score. Yeah. Yes, but I guarantee Leftwich is like, please don't throw it, and he did it regardless. So time execution was bad. The only time Leftwich runs the same play twice in drive. That is the biggest one I get mad at. Like, don't run it twice in the same drive.
Yeah. Maybe come back later on. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, I laughed hard at it, like really hard, just because based on how good our defense was doing, the fact that the offense was running well, and then that happens. I was like, damn, that is just a Buccaneer way right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we all died. we all died. Yeah. I mean, you had to laugh. You had to laugh at it. But again, it goes to what you talked about yesterday, Mark, on Twitter. It's like the Leftwich versus Lefty.
Yeah.
And is so damn true. It is alive. It is well. And as a Bucs fan, you got to feel good about it, because if Lefty comes to play, this team is
different.
It's different, and it could be going places, because Lefty is the real deal. Now, when he goes back to Leftwich, and he went to Leftwich, like full Leftwich, he went full Leftwich on that trick play. And if you do that, then obviously it's over. But Lefty he was calling it good. He was calling it right. I mean, we saw play action. We saw runs out of shotgun. And I tell you this, the runs out of shotgun work every time. Every time we pull Shaq Mason or whoever we're pulling, K-Dot and Kokeef, every time those guys set up lanes and there's things to take advantage of. But I'll let you touch more on Lefty.
Yeah, Lefty.
Yes.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my gosh, he's doing it. I wanted to put like the hook thing. You're doing it, Peter. You're doing it. And put like Leftwich on there, like his face. I mean, I'm telling you, Lefty and Leftwich are like Jekyll and Hyde. They're two total different people. You can't tell me that game was called by Leftwich. That was Lefty. And he's going to his alter ego. Yeah. That was not Leftwich. I don't ever want to see Leftwich again. Let's keep Lefty around for a little bit. And I hope that kind of sticks, because that is how a game is supposed to be called. And I didn't see much of what he used to do. And he even saw bringing Chris Godwin in the backfield. Beautiful. Just a different look. You can see how teams will adjust to it and then call it differently later in the game. To see what did they do? Did they shift over? Because Godwin, holy crap, he's not just blocking in the running game. What is he doing now? Is he going to be a running back? Is he getting a carry? This is stuff that I thought they were going to use Russell Gage with, and he's been hurt and they haven't really been able to use him that way. Chris Godwin's another guy that can do that with. I hope to see that moving forward. I mean, every time Lenny Fournette and Rachaad White are in the backfield, something special and good happens too. So find ways to be creative with your lineups. And you can be basic. You can be Pee-wee football with that too. You don't have to be elaborate in these giant, deep down the field schemes. It's just getting one guy's eyes over here, and then you go over there. It's all as simple as it is. And it can be that easy. Like your little fake screen and throw it up top to Mike Evans. Easy Pee-wee football play, but you put in a little wrinkle into it. Simple, complex, simple stuff we talk about a lot over here, but really nice to see actually come to fruition. Lefty, keep it up.
Yeah, G Vegas says it best. That's European Lefty. Won't get that domestically. Probably true. Probably right. That was probably just a Germany thing, but yeah, we gotta hope that. And it's very similar to, going back to 2020, where this team was kind of, just finding their way into that bye week. Now the difference is, the team's 5-5 going into this bye instead of 7 and I think it was 7-5. They head into that one, but still, it's kind of where, okay, maybe they're starting to figure things out. Maybe they understand, okay, we finally have the right personnel in there. They understand how to utilize them. So maybe this is a sign. Maybe it's starting, to trend in the right direction. And let me see if I can pull up the schedule here. I talked to you.
I got you right here. Boom.
Oh, okay. You got it right there. Yeah. I talked to you yesterday about this, and I'm like, man, you look at the schedule, there's a very good opportunity the Buccaneers can win at least 5, 6, maybe all 7 of these games remaining. It's very real. I mean, you look at the Buccaneers versus the Browns. Yes, that's on the road, which won't be easy, but if the Bucs are healthy and their run defense is like it is now, with the ability to stop Nick Chubb, and you make Brissett beat you, and you have guys that can cover, Amari Cooper, and you have guys that can match up with what they offer, definitely a winnable game. And again, it's offensively, can you figure it out? Can you attack their weakness of stopping the run? And then you move on to the Saints. Saints are a mess right now. I know we've had issues against them in the past, but still, they don't have a quarterback. They don't understand who they are, and
think about changing that quarterback too.
Yeah, so they don't even know who QB1 is for their team. 49ers, again, tough game on the road, West Coast trip, short week as well, which sucks. But again,
they have Odell at that point. Could they be Alabama? You never know. Or
Yeah.
do we have Odell? You know, you don't even know that could be the possibility too.
Yeah, G Vegas brings up the point of Brady versus Garoppolo, which is cool. Um, but yeah, I mean, you continue and you look at, Bengals obviously at home, still again a tough matchup, but again, their offensive line we should be able to get after their QB, and there's weaknesses on their defense. Cardinals, that one could be a tough one. But I mean, the rest of it, I mean, it's all winnable games, is my point. All winnable games,
Absolutely.
and definitely can see them, coming close to winning out here. And maybe that's what it's going to take. But the main thing is you just got to win that division. And right now, Bucs are in control of that division.
Yeah, I mean, look, come down here, 5-5. But I mean, but think about that. Yes, we're number one in the division, but look at some of these other teams: 8-1, 6-4, 7-2, 8-0.
Yeah.
Yes, all that matters is getting in the dance and then competing inside once you're there. But I agree with you that we can win any game. But at the end of the day, it is only 50-50 because who's going to show up, lefty or leftwich?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, this is the team that did lose to the Steelers and Panthers back to back.
Yeah, not good.
Every game has been really close. Yeah, I think the biggest loss we had was 10, right? To the Panthers. Jeez, I still can't believe it was that bad. I had to erase that. I think everyone had a meltdown this 21-3 game because that was just a slaughter. Nothing moved. So think about that. You're 3 games removed from that, 4 games removed from that. And now we're thinking, oh, we're on top of the NFC South. We could go on a full game run. And that's why I was like, plus, bring it back down to earth. Still 50-50.
Well,
what's going to happen? No one 100% knows, but momentum's trending on our side right now. Health is trending on our side right now.
Right.
Good things are going in place, especially going into the bye week. We're going to get even more healthy. Very good things. Good teams come on late. Hopefully this is what you're seeing, as we're a very veteran team as well. And hopefully the coaching staff is figuring out what the hell did not work and what worked in these past 2 games.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the big thing. Go back to the standings there. I want to point out something. You look at the points allowed for the Buccaneers, 180, and they have 183. But you look at across the league, that 180 is pretty damn good. Besides the 49ers, who have 163. So I mean, that's obviously very impressive. Trying to think who. Oh well, the Eagles obviously, but yeah, 135 for the Eagles. Obviously, they're undefeated for a reason. But I mean, you look at that 180. That's really good defense among most of those teams. Obviously, the offense needs to pick it up, and they're starting to. Maybe they're starting to find rhythm because they've made certain adjustments with their personnel, and also, they're finding ways to call it better, sequence it better, and really that's going to be the thing going forward. Can this offense, find ways to get enough done where their defense can continue to hold teams under 20 points? And yeah, very well could happen.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we're still near the bottom of the barrel in scoring points. This offense needs to do much better. I know they did get good one game.
Yeah.
Can you compound that? Can you keep moving forward and get better and better consistently? Because you didn't play the full 4 quarters. We always talk about the whole team doing it or the defense doing it. We haven't even gotten to the offense yet because they've been so shitty all season.
Yeah.
We're just like, give me something. Give me a possession. Give me a touchdown. Begging for that. So we had one good game and everyone thinks, oh, this is it. I'm not there yet. Give me multiple games where you're showing consistent effort, consistent play call. Then I'll get happy because you're talking. You can be like, oh, that like the Panthers or the Steelers that when they beat us, okay, now we got a direction. No, I just want Leftwich to kind of prove it over time. He's done it before in that Super Bowl run. Hopefully this is the time and he's actually going to start doing that because this is not sustainable. 18.3 points. We've only scored 3 more than our opponent the whole entire season. That ain't it.
Yeah.
That ain't it.
Yeah, no, agreed. And with that said, guys, I hope you guys are enjoying this stream. Be sure to hit that like button, comment. We appreciate all the comments in here, all the support. We're trying to get back to a regular schedule. I know content has been kind of up and down over the last couple weeks, so we're trying to push out more as we go forward. But this thing called life, it just keeps on, bringing up just random stuff at us, both of us. So we're trying to get more consistent. But we appreciate every single one of you because you guys make this channel go. If we don't have you, then probably don't have a channel. And so very thankful for it. And like you guys are saying in here, yeah, I mean, the offense definitely has to pick it up even more. You look at the last 2 years, they were averaging 30 points a game. And that's just something that seems like a mountain for this offense to climb. And we've only had one game over 30 points, and that was, because we were down so much that we were able to score like that. So hopefully, it picks it up with the play action, utilizing, the run game and make it simple. Run out of less contested boxes, throw the ball out of heavier boxes. When they crowd the line, that's when you want to do the play action. That's when you want to throw it. When they don't have many people in there, that's when you want to gash them up and run and use, Rachaad White the way he's capable of, and everything builds off of that.
And maybe it's going to take this long into the season, and also 2 wins. 1 win where you barely came out. Mm-hmm. You embraced Tom Brady, Leftwich embraced Tom Brady, thinking, thank the Lord you saved my job. And then this game, he's like, okay, I'll call it better this one. Yeah. Maybe this is something where they're figuring it out, and they can talk heavily in this bye week. I guarantee you, Brady's sitting down with Leftwich multiple times saying, listen, these are things that work. This is things I was comfortable with. Hell, I called that touchdown that got us that first win, so I want a lot of input. Mm-hmm. Hopefully that's happening right now, because to be honest, this is likely Brady's last year. I don't care, divorce or not, it was probably going to be, and he wants to go out the way he wants to go out. Hopefully it's in a good way. But I mean, realistically, looking at the rest of the schedule, like you said, we could honestly win it out. If anything, there's 2, maybe 3 games that would be really tough. Mm-hmm. But if this team wants to go where they want to go, they're going to have to beat these teams. And I don't care if it's on the road or not. I mean, the Cardinals and 49ers are the only 2 that really do scare me. The rest, they better be pissed when they play the Panthers again. They better be pissed when they play the Falcons because they want to go in the playoffs hot. So, yeah, I mean, let's get it. We're in control of our own destiny. We got the top of the NFC South right now. Where do we go from there? We'll see. And I guarantee you the Eagles are not going to stay that hot the whole time. I mean, they're just asking Jalen Hurts to get hurt. I mean, Hurts is going to get hurt. Well, just like Cam Newton. Keep doing it.
Yeah. Well, I'll make one more point about the offense, and then we'll talk a little bit about the defense, and then we'll wrap it up.
We haven't talked about them at all.
Yeah, I know. But my last point on the offense is what I noticed is Tom Brady is starting to trust his offensive line a lot more. He's starting to hold that football just a little bit longer to let these plays develop, and he's starting to go through his reads properly. Besides the one to Mike, he was making the right reads as far as reading it right and hitting or going with the football where it needed to go and hitting some of these big plays, trusting his guys to go out there and make the play. There's still some things that obviously needs to get cleaned up. There's some communication where guys turning around the wrong way and he's throwing it to the other side. So we saw that with Chris Godwin a couple of times, but still it was an improvement. There was a lot more striking and going down the field, trusting he has time back there. So, and that's what I talked about with the 8.6 yards per pass. That's huge. And that's something that needs to continue to trend forward. But with that said, going to the defense, we got to take a moment and talk about Devin White. This guy, unfortunately, the sad news of losing his dad, who passed away just suddenly. It's a bizarre case that we're figuring out now. More news came on about it, but still tough regardless, and prayers go to his family and to him. But for him to play after the criticism that again, it was deserved because he just wasn't playing well, and we all talked about that, and he came back the last 2 weeks and showed what he's capable of. Like, this is the standard. This is what he should be able to do week in and week out because he is that talented. So, 9 tackles, 2 sacks, a tackle for loss, forced fumble, a key forced fumble, because that really changed the game. And
That was
just
after the shit show pass.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So he balled out, and this is what we should expect. And is that because of Akeem Hicks being in there? Yeah, that helps.
Absolutely.
But this is how he should play, and hopefully we see this type of Devin White, the rest of the year.
Oh, but either way, eye in the sky don't lie.
Hmm.
You did not see him take one damn play off. There was no loafing. There was no slowing down.
Yeah.
If a play was going to the sideline, he was beating you to that sideline. Like, you didn't see that in that Ravens game. Don't give me the crap. There was no Hicks. There was no. It didn't matter. I mean, you run to run. You run to the ball, and he would let things go. And he himself said it after the Rams game. He said it into himself. He's like, I need to do better. I need to get back to the basics, get back to the things I do best.
Mm-hmm.
He himself said it, and I know Todd Bowles like, oh, he criticizes himself more. I guarantee you he heard it. I looked at it and said, damn, no, I am better in this. And I'm going to prove that. And that's the biggest thing, self-criticism and knowing that you are a better player than what you put out there.
Mm-hmm.
There was not one play where he didn't run full speed.
Yeah.
Like full, and he could have had 4 sacks. Like those 4th down plays, could have easily been sacks. And he was around the ball a lot more than those numbers even show. So
yeah,
he was a huge difference maker in that game. Hicks or not, he was all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what he needs to be as a captain of the defense, a leader of the defense. You got to play to that standard. And I always talk about it. I talked about it in the offseason. I'm like, your star players have to be your star players. And he's one of those guys. And they got to be star players. And you're starting to see certain guys step up their game. Chris Godwin was one of them yesterday. And that has to continue going forward. And back to the defense with, Levante David starting to make more plays. Antoine Winfield being back, that's a huge help. And then obviously with JTS and Hicks and all those guys just playing out of their minds. I mean, I think JTS was all over the field yesterday doing a pretty damn good job of just getting in there, forcing pressures, obviously getting sacks and playing coverage, playing corner at times, knocking down passes and, so the dude does it all. And yeah, it was just a great team effort on defense overall. They played really well.
Yeah, you can mention anyone's name. I mean, Dean covering the deep passes left and right. He pretty much shut down DK Metcalf at points. 76 yards, a very quiet 76 yards. They tried to hit him in the red zone multiple times. Didn't work.
Yeah.
Dean said, quietly. Winfield, you could see like getting in the backfield multiple times. Even Edwards in coverage wasn't biting too much on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Geno Smith, either way, I got to give props to that guy. He played his butt off, and the reason why he should be the comeback player of the year.
Yeah, and he's the most accurate QB in the league this year as far as percentage completion, and he had it
fast get like released too, lightning fast.
Yeah, I mean he put up good numbers yesterday. When you look at his stats, I mean 23 of 33, I think it was, 275 yards. Now again, a lot of this was in the second half because they started adjusting. They were just doing quick passes, dump offs, and the Bucs were, pretty much giving it to them. They were okay allowing them to drive the ball and waste time, waste clock, and he made some heck of a throws. I mean, the last touchdown pass was a heck of a throw to beat Sean Murphy Bunting. I mean, that was just perfect. So yeah, you got to tip your hat to him. But the main thing is that running game. That's where it starts. I mean, yeah, exactly. And you shut down Kenneth Walker and you didn't allow Geno Smith to beat you. That's huge because that's a big part of their offense. It sets up those big plays down the field where that's where you have to worry, like when they can start doing double moves on you. And yeah, I mean, you kept Tyler Lockett in check. That's a huge thing.
I mean, yeah, you got a touchdown, but
very
end again.
Yep.
But it just gives credit to how good and vital is this fat man in the middle. I mean, another vocal leader, another very veteran type player that knows what he wants to do in this year. It could be his last as well. I mean, we said it in the offseason. I was hyped on his signing. I don't know how many times I was smiling and gloating about him because I was like, this is the missing piece.
Mm-hmm.
And we lost Sue, and you bring him this guy who can get after it. Wait until he starts showing his pass rush moves when he doesn't get doubled every damn time because they're worried about Devin White getting in. I mean, it's going to be something special if he can stay healthy. So take your bye week, get your little Epsom salt baths, relax, get your feet massaged a little bit, and let's get this train rolling. I mean, he's healthy next to Vita Vea, and then where's Vita Vea? Where's his stats?
He didn't get any.
Didn't get any. I feel like he was all over the field too. I mean,
yeah, he did a good job. Again, he was taking attention away, and again, that's him just plugging holes. He's not going to be.
He didn't get any.
Yeah, he didn't get any, but it's okay. It's okay. The defense around him stepped up, and that's why Akeem Hicks had 4 tackles, because Vita Vea was helping Akeem get those singles, and so they work off each other. That's the biggest thing, and yeah, it's huge. I mean, so going forward, obviously looking at this team and looking at the outlook as we head into the second half of the season, you got 7 games left, and like we were talking about earlier, very winnable. I think the keys coming down the stretch, obviously, like you said, getting healthy at the right time, defense continue to communicate and play smart football like they've had, and then offensively, it comes down to a couple of things: Lefty showing up,
Yes,
and then just playing smart on offense as far as Brady and that offensive line staying together and utilizing your players in the right way. So hopefully that comes to fruition, and we see this team start getting on a run here, and continue this winning streak.
and then let's put one more. G Vegas saying low key play was Camarda flipping the field, punting in his end zone. Huge lift for defense. Camarda is just being a consistent player right now. I mean, yeah, he had a couple kicks early. He was just getting the rust off, but he's just in this 2-game win streak too. I mean, he's been one consistent factor as well, flipping the field, forcing them to play deep, and positioning, like just using the sideline as advantage. The special teams been putting up. And plus, do you have anything to say about Darden? What about Darden?
Darden was doing fine, and then I was like, why is he on the kickoff? And then I was like, oh, okay, Rachaad White starting. But yeah, he was doing fine, and then he tripped over his own feet. But everyone was tripping on their feet in this game, it seemed like, because of the field. And I know people talked about that earlier. Yeah, the turf was rough. But again, it's a soccer field, and you're going to have some of that. But Darden's been fine. He's been a really good returner. And Camarda, yeah, he's been really consistent. This rookie class overall, I think, has been pretty positive, outside of Gedeke having his struggles. Logan Hall has had flashes. I think lately it's just been more of maybe he's just not getting in there as much, not getting many snaps because Akeem Hicks, you need him in there. So, but overall, this class, you got to be excited with it, especially the production of Rachaad White, K-Dot, and Jake Camarda, McCollum on special teams. Yeah, I mean, a lot of fun. Keefe with his blocking. So, yeah, good stuff.
I'll say this. Please stop using Logan Hall on running plays.
Yeah.
In the Rams game, they had 2 giant runs both times he was on the field, and he just didn't see it. Like, and you can see him on purpose. He'd look like, where they? Oh, it's already past me.
Yeah.
And just, I know they're doing a lot of rotations, which rightfully so, just to keep guys healthy for one and not gassed. So I understand it, but I just keep him on third down. He succeeded there. He did very, very well there. Hopefully they keep doing that. But I don't want to see him on a first down ever. Ever.
Yeah.
Looking at your defense.
Yeah, not right now. He's got a lot to learn when it comes to that. But yeah, let him do what he does best. And I think that's the big message from us with this team. Let your guys do what they do best. Don't try to make them something that they're not. And please, someone teach Scotty Miller to just catch the ball. Like, you don't have to jump and body catch everything. Just let the ball come to you. You're wide open. You would have had a touchdown. All you had to do is catch it and run. You didn't have to jump. But again, we'll save that for another time, another podcast.
Won the game. You won the game. That's all that
Yeah,
matters.
we won we won the game. We still scored on that drive, so that's all that matters. And it was a great win. Buccaneers win 21-16. They are 5-5. Imagine that, guys. Everyone was saying doom and gloom, and now it's like, hey, we're back in this. We are back. But thank you so much to everyone in here. We appreciate all the support. Be sure to hit that like button, comment on the live stream, subscribe if you're new in here and you haven't subscribed yet. We appreciate all the subs, and yeah, check out our content coming out later this week. We're probably going to do some, definitely have some film studies out for you guys. Talk about Rachaad White, talk about the defense, a lot of good stuff coming up. And everyone have a great week. I'm not sure when we'll be live again because we do have Thanksgiving coming up. So if we don't see you before then, everyone have a happy Thanksgiving and go Bucs.
As always, go Bucs.